Alrighty, new project going on. So this right here is my trusted, beloved Mora knife. Just probably the coolest little bushcraft knife in the world. Simple, easy, inexpensive, Scandi grind, holds an edge perfectly. And this right here is a Mora knife blank. The idea, I bought this knife blank right here for about 10 bucks and $6 shipping, which makes it almost as expensive as this finished Mora knife. It's under $20. Yeah, don't go there, don't worry. I have some walnut that I got from Richie out of a abandoned, tearing down building, old flooring. I got some oak. That was part of Teresa's dad's cabinet that we tore apart. A couple little leather pieces that are going to go in the handle. Then this big chunk of leather here. Eventually I'll make a little knife sheath out of that. And I think I'm going to make it with a little drop, just like this one that I have here. I'll have a little leather drop, maybe tan, leather, brass, snaps, we'll see, I don't know. And those little chunks of wood and that leather are going to become the handle. We'll see what happens. Alright, gotta stop goofing off and get started. I'm taking off on a motorbike trip in a little over a week, little motorcycle camping. And if this works out, I'm going to give this knife to my buddy Dan, who was doing some motorbike camping with me last year as well. So he's a good dude, and I think I'll try my first knife making endeavor out on him. If it doesn't work, you'll never see this little chunk of video. So here you go, that's the pieces of the handle. This first one's a little chunk of walnut, and it's going to have a leather piece, then oak, then leather, then walnut. And I'm hoping, after that's all glued up, to shape it to look something like that guy right there. The glue up right there. So walnut, leather, oak, leather, walnut, and hopefully that's the fabulous stuff that's going to work. G-Flex epoxy, same thing I use on my canoe paddles, worked pretty good on that, so we'll give it a chance. Got some cleanup to do now, and then I'll let that dry for 24 hours. Go. Looks like the rough shape is starting to come together. Just using a few different things, the mallet and the chisel, little spoke shave time, my cool little Japanese back saw there. I think now it's probably time to get out that little sander and maybe do the rest of that with just a big old choking bunch of sawdust. Alright, here's my progress report so far. So trying to copy that Mora knife handle. This is what I've come up with so far. And still got some sanding to do. And Also taking into consideration that my buddy's hands are bigger than mine, so I'm going to make that handle a little bit thicker. Not meant to be a showpiece. This is a working knife, so it's not going to get a lot more finished than that. It'll just get some linseed oil on there and call it good. Again, simple, usable, rough and tumble. That's the idea. That's what the handle's going to look like. And phase number next is I made a little pattern for the knife sheath. And I'll cut that beast out of this chunk of leather right here. So that is the knife sheath as it starts to get a little bit of leather dye on it. So, stitching begins. What's happening here is a classic saddle stitch method where both of these threads go from opposite directions in through the same hole. Then you pull them both tight, and you just keep going from opposite directions, pull them both tight, and it makes a really strong, well-laid stitch. I've cut a groove on the inside here so that the stitches lay down inside the leather, and that keeps the knife blade from snagging them when you go down and through there. This has been cemented on first, so it's cemented first and then stitched. So, made to last a lifetime. There we go. Next step, a little gum trag. That's got a big old long name that no human can pronounce, but goes on the edges. And it'll also go on this beautiful little edge right here. Okay, job number next. Here's what's up next. I've did a little burnishing on that welt right there. And so now it's time to do some stitching along this edge. And I'll use my pricking iron. I know, I love to call it a pricking iron. It's actually a pricking iron. And we'll use that and poke some holes along here, nicely evenly spaced, and then saddle stitch on this guy. So that's what's up next. Here we go. Well, this is the wet forming process here. Soaking that guy in water, and then I have to squeeze that guy down flat along there and shape this knife sheath to the shape of the knife. So just keep working this, and eventually it'll dry and shrink up a little bit, and it should fit like a glove. Tandy carnauba pretty cool stuff. This guy's probably 40 years old, but still works. Just apply a little of this with a rag. You just buff it out with a cloth. And there you go. Finished product. So, just because everybody that makes a knife video has to cut some paper, must be mandatory. Thanks for watching.